Well, good morning, Bakersfield, surrounding communities, and everybody watching online on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. I am Chris Burdick. That is Sparky. Sparky, good morning.
Good morning. Nicely done.
Thank you. You heard that?
Yeah,
I
it just
almost slipped
rolls
again.
right off
I
the
almost
tongue,
slipped again,
dude.
though. In my head, it's still there. I need to purge it. Out. Let them know what they're in for, my guy.
It's a free for all, man. It's Friday. We ain't got to do. No, we're gonna talk a little Monday or Thursday night football. That crazy ass game we saw last night, and then we're gonna do a little warm and fuzzy. We're gonna talk to Scarlett Sabin from the Ronald McDonald House here in a minute, and then we'll get into all sorts of. There's NBA talk. There's some entertainment news I want to bounce off you. Plus, we've got your fantasy questions. If you'd like to call or text in, you can do that at 842-2000. And then we'll wrap up with our buddy Chris Flail. He's back, and he'll be joining us in studio at 8 o'clock right here on the Early Bird Special.
The first question I want to pose is an entertainment question. Am I the only one that's like getting Stranger Things withdrawals? I don't want to wait a whole month for the rest of this season.
No.
I really don't. I want it now. I know we have 20 days, and I'm also waiting for Shoresy to come out. I almost said Letterkenny. That show's over. But I am having withdrawals, man. Every time I think about this show, and it doesn't help that every time I turn on my Instagram, all I hear is that Joe Keery song, the Back in Chicago or whatever, which is a great song. But God, that doesn't help anything at all. It's all Stranger Things stuff right now.
Anytime I open my social media, it is Stranger Things this, Stranger Things that.
saying.
Burger King's has an upside down menu. Blah, 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 blah.
I haven't even tried to go get and actually see what that's about. I did try the Carl's Jr. was a Big Cali or whatever, Cali XL burger.
I saw that.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I highly recommend if you're a Carl's Jr. fan, go check it out. It's only like $6-7 right now too. So it's worth
$6-7?
the price. $6-7.
$6-7?
$6-7.
Really?
I think that's on purpose too. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I think it is actually.
I think that's on purpose.
There is promotions everywhere, and if you're a big Chipotle fan,
By the way,
throw it out there. If you wear an ugly sweater every Saturday at Chipotle, you buy one get one free.
I did not know that. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to go to Chipotle. However, the Grinch has given us an early gift for those of you who hate 6-7 like I. Anytime a kid tells you 6-7, just go 8-9. Mess it up. Just mess it up. The sooner we get this thing and kill it, the better, in my opinion. But it is what it is. Let's talk about the Thursday night football game from last night because it was an offensive onslaught. And unfortunately, our guy Bolt got it wrong yesterday.
I was thinking about it
for the first time in weeks. I agreed with him, though. I mean, when you hear those statistics, 2% of games in the NFL make it over a 55-point threshold, right? This one kind of had the makings of it, but we didn't think Amon-Ra St. Brown was going to play, including people that had him on his fantasy football team.
It wasn't a lot of points, so you didn't miss out too much.
It was enough.
He was missing that
definitely
touchdown.
Enough. But it was a fantastic game all in all by the Stars outside of George Pickens. I think the defense of Detroit just did a fantastic job at isolating him and making sure he didn't beat them.
Yeah, once CD went down, it was okay.
But see,
that's double them up on here.
That's the thing is the Dallas Cowboys just saw the bad side of a lot of bad luck. And one of the things I have to highlight, which is one of the things everybody's talking about today, a lot of weird calls in this game. An offensive pass interference call on Ferguson, which I kind of see what they were looking at, but that's a stretch. Even the commentators were saying that was a stretch. The non-pass interference call that should have been called, about a dozen plays later, that Dak Prescott was openly criticizing after the game. Don't blame him for that either. But I have to pose this. With the way sports are right now, with everybody so skeptical about the gambling within the game and the integrity of the game across all professional platforms, you really think now is the time as a referee to be getting calls wrong or not calling what should be called? Like, if I'm a referee in the NFL, NBA, whatever, doesn't matter right now, I am on my game. I'm calling everything, whether it's nitpicky or not. That's why I kind of gave the benefit of the doubt with the offensive pass interference call early. Because I said, okay, you know what? They're just trying to do their job and they saw something, let it happen. but not calling the defensive pass interference late in the game when the Cowboys are trying to come back down, I think 8 at the time, that's a little weird. And that's why a lot of fan bases right now are rolling with the idea of Vegas and the NFL are plotting against certain teams so other teams win Super Bowls and we get what we get because that's how they make money. And all of this turns into the WWE.
It was definitely a bad officiating game, and I was on NyQuil. My throat started hurting yesterday after the show, so I started taking NyQuil, and I was thinking, okay, Bold is 52, 53 below. I was like, okay, let me watch this. In the first half, I was like, okay, he's probably right.
Like it,
It was looking like a low scoring game, and then when CD went out, I was like, oh, here we go,
44-30.
But I watched the recap. I was like, damn.
I have to highlight what I said yesterday, though. Detroit's inconsistencies. 1 week they drop 40. Next week they'll drop 16. I promise.
But the thing I wanted to bounce off you is one of the main things that they were talking about afterwards is even if the Cowboys win out, there's still like a 4% chance that they make the playoffs. And now they're kind of fighting, okay, well, do we look at these draft picks? And, CD, if you're in fantasy like me and you have CD Lamb, he's probably going to be out next week because usually the concussion takes at least a game.
Yeah.
And that's going to hurt because the playoffs start next week.
Yep. For most people.
And of course, the guy I'm playing had Aubrey, the Cowboys kicker, who outscored most of fantasy players, but
63-yard field goal.
Yeah, and he does it like nothing.
63 yards.
So I will be targeting him next year. I will say
100%.
it because
100%.
Aubrey, I forget how good Aubrey is.
If every NFL team isn't reaching out to a soccer player right now that didn't work out in whatever professional league they are, I'd be shocked. If you don't have a big boot kicker right now, Atlanta, call somebody that's a professional soccer player or former professional soccer player like Aubrey and just pick him up because that's all you need right now. If he can kick a football, that's all you're going to need right now. And 63-yarders are nice. But I don't know. This entire game was just a weird way of showing that Dallas is desperately clinging on to, like you said, a 5% chance, 4% chance at the playoffs. And the way that they had mentioned it last night during the game was if Dallas had won out, including last night's game, the Eagles would have had to have taken 4 of their last 5 in order to have even taken the playoffs away from them. It is going to be a long shot now after losing to Detroit for Dallas to come back. It's still on the table. I still think they're pretty hot right now. But
they're going to need some help.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need a lot of help. And honestly, it's going to take a monumental collapse from the Philadelphia Eagles to really pull off them making the playoffs.
Well, keeping it with Dallas, I don't know if you guys watched the prime post game where they all were taking shots at Pickens.
Yep.
And I get it, man. Pickens has a history, but the guy has shown up this year, and I understand he's playing for a big contract. I don't think maybe Dallas pays him. But watching his attitude, you could tell there was a couple plays that he was getting frustrated, took maybe the next play off. But, I mean, still on the field, the kid is playing well this year. But do you think he's worth the $30, $40 million that he's probably expected to get next season? Yes. And do you think Dallas is going to do it?
Whether Dallas does it or not is going to be the toss-up. Somebody is. Again, this guy comes out every single year and shows us that he's a wide receiver 1. And the only year he really didn't was when he was in Pittsburgh with Arthur. And you guys know how I feel about Arthur Smith's offense. If you're a wide receiver, don't expect to be top 10 anywhere close unless you're maybe a Calvin Johnson. And how many of those are in the league? Yeah. You know what I mean?
I mean, look at DK.
The likelihood of him staying with the team, the likelihood of him getting $30 million kind of weighs. Obviously, Jerry kind of showed us this last summer that he's not fully willing to pay everybody. He's willing to pay people that are going to contribute. But it's hard to say that George isn't contributing. He's still one of the top wide receivers in the league. He was number 2 in yards coming into the game. I don't know exactly where he's going to be coming out of this week.
Number 2 in touchdowns as well. But It's the same thing. And it's just the more I listen to, and I really wouldn't want to go by, but Richard Sherman just bashing the kid, and the guy always takes shots at receivers. I get it. He's a Pro Bowl receiver, a Hall of Famer, but
doesn't like knuckleheaded receivers. We know his history with Michael Crabtree and the ones that he can get in their heads, he loves doing that. So yeah,
The other one was Ryan Clark, the old Steelers player that
don't
said,
get me started.
even brought up he was the one that took it to the coach saying, "Don't pay Pickens. The kid is a knucklehead." But the other option, which Sherman was talking about in the post game, is he thinks Dallas is just going to franchise him and make it a prove it again year. And you know how receivers feel about those franchise tags.
Yeah, and that's honestly a good possibility, especially with the way Dallas likes to do things. But I don't know. I feel like he has warranted at least the money that they're asking for. We just got to see if anybody's actually willing to give him that. And if we can get 2 back-to-back prove it years from George Pickens, it'd be hard to argue that he isn't worth even more than $30 million. It's just, I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas tries to run it back and do that. But with a hot-headed guy like Pickens, God only knows what's going to happen on the field if you give him a franchise tag and put him in a situation where he isn't happy. I mean, everybody's talking about A.J. Brown and how unhappy he is at times when he's not getting fed. Imagine next year if George Pickens doesn't see the same production and he's on a franchise tag. It's going to be pretty dang loud down there in Dallas, and I don't know if they want to deal with that at all. So it really just depends on where Jerry wants to go with the team. I think that he's been building it pretty dang well, in my opinion, especially, looking back on this draft or in this trade he made early. I think both teams have really kind of worked out their ends of that trade for Micah Parsons. Because again, the Packers brought in Micah Parsons to do one thing, that's get to the quarterback, and that is what Micah has been able to do all season long, as he always does. He's gotten to 10 sacks already. And Jerry wanted to fix the run defense, which, to be honest, for the most part of last night's game, looked like it was fixed. Gibbs, although scoring 3 touchdowns, he had to work to get all 3 of them. And it looks good on the stat sheet, don't get me wrong, but if you watch that game through and through, it wasn't an easy game for him. Montgomery finally broke one out. Finally.
Thank you.
I swear. But again, I have to say,
he scored last week too, but
they're just not using him as much as they usually did, or I should say they did with Ben Johnson. And I know Ben likes his 2-back system, but Dan's got to figure out how to use both of these guys, because this offense is not the same when you're not using both Sonic and Knuckles. And we've seen a lot of Sonic this year. Yeah. Gibbs has looked fantastic.
It's a back-to-back 3 touchdown games.
I'm just saying.
Geez Louise.
That's what I'm saying. On the stat sheet, looks fantastic. Looks like he tore them apart. But if you really watch the game, you know that he really had to work his way into the end zone 3 times.
The majority of it was in the first quarter.
Exactly. So it is one of those situations where I think both teams are starting to figure out what they're going to be post this trade. I think they're both winning this trade, if I'm being honest. And even if the Cowboys don't make the playoffs, let's think of it this way. They get a better draft pick. I think that's better suited for Jerry, who's now sitting on a couple first rounders. And I mean, the Packers aren't exactly a shoe-in for the playoffs either.
Yeah, Lions are biting at their ankles as well.
You heard me yesterday. I'm not a big supporter of what the Packers are doing right now outside of the defense. I mean, the defense has been pretty dang stellar. 16 points in most of their losses. I mean, you can't really get much better than that. But at the same time, just like the Lions, inconsistencies. They're not letting Jordan Love play like Jordan Love usually does. I don't know if it's just micromanaging or if it's Jordan not trying to make mistakes.
That's a good topic, because I was wondering the same thing. Jordan Love in the beginning of the season, everyone was okay, it's MVP or bust.
Right.
He's had a rough year, but it's not just him. The roulette of receivers. Jacobs is doing what Jacobs does, but he's been injured a couple of times. The offensive line has been another one coming in and out. But do you think it's the offensive play calling, or do you think it really just lands on Jordan Love?
I think it's kind of a mix of both. I think that we came into this season very critical of a lot of things that Jordan does with the football. He has thrown interceptions, and very questionable interceptions throughout his career. And that's to be expected from a young quarterback. But I think people have said that so much that the team itself is starting to overanalyze how he plays the position. And like I said, possibly is just trying to do everything they can to micromanage the interceptions and the turnovers, which works. Don't get me wrong, that should be winning football. But when you're taking away a key thing from a gunslinger like Jordan, which is his ability to really do some amazing things with a football, like his ability to throw a football, and just put it in places that most quarterbacks can't because of his arm strength. But if you're telling him, let's not even try that, throw, let's try to find something a little bit safer. Sometimes the offense, doesn't get rolling as well as it could. Those big plays that really gain the momentum to steal games away aren't there anymore. And when you're working with an offense where his wide receivers have been nothing short of abysmal, if I'm being honest, the number one overall pick, Golden, or where's he?
Yeah, where has he been?
Yeah, Tucker Kraft is now out for the rest of the season. Who can he throw to on a consistent basis besides Romeo Dobbs? And
Yeah, it's Wicks one week, it's this
Reed
guy
has
this
been
week.
banged up all season. So it's been a really, really rough year for the wide receiver core of the Packers.
I think you hit it right there because I mean, I've seen football. I mean, I watched it my whole life, and I remember watching Marino. He was a gunslinger, but once we would switch up after Shula left, a coach would come in and say, "Hey, just run the offense."
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, if you want a gunslinger, let a gunslinger do a gunslinger
Right.
things. But if you start, micromanaging, I think that's the perfect word because that's what I've seen. And I don't get to see a lot of Packer games unless it falls in the red zone.
Right.
But that's what I've seen. They've gotten away from, running the game, play action, and let Jordan Love sling it. And it seems like maybe it's gotten into his head and he's not playing Jordan Love football.
Right. And I think that in itself is going to hurt the Packers more than it's going to help them, especially going down the stretch. Because if they can't figure out a way to get the momentum working in bigger chunks of yardage, it's going to be really hard for them to keep up with a lot of these high octane offenses, especially teams like the Bears and the Lions, who are all figuring it out on offense. Like we saw with the Lions last night, could drop 40 points on you at any point in time. Can't say the same for the Packers, if I'm being completely honest with you. So we're going to see. And honestly, the Packers are one of those teams where if they don't make the playoffs, we're talking about Mike Tomlin getting fired. Beginning of the season, a lot of people were calling for Matt LaFleur's job too, for the exact same reason. So maybe we see some movement in their corner. Because also I've heard nothing but Atlanta fans really hoping and praying he comes back. I don't want to see it.
No?
Well, I mean, I would like to see it. Don't get me wrong. It would be a great coach, especially since I'm losing a lot of respect and love for Raheem Morris right now. But I think we could find someone better. I think we could find someone that can get us over the hump, not somebody who has proven that he can get you right to the line. You know what I mean? He until he could prove to me that he can get to that game, I don't think it's worth bringing him in because it's not that much of an increase. You know what I mean? It's not that much of a coaching jump, but that's just my personal opinion. Let's take a break real quick. On the other side, we're going to talk to our first guest. That'd be Scarlett Sabin from the Ronald McDonald House. They have a toy run that they're doing here locally in Bakersfield. So if you are feeling giving this Christmas season, go out, donate a toy or two. It'll be easy. It'll be effortless. And the Ronald McDonald House will easily be able to get it to every single kid in need that wants or just needs some sort of Christmas cheer, I should say. So let's take a break real quick. This is the early bird special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101 FM, 1250 AM. I don't hear it often, to be honest with you. I need to have it in my playlists. If you are local here in Bakersfield, there's a toy run that'll be run by the Ronald McDonald House that is going on this weekend.
Tomorrow.
Fantastic. And if you are feeling in the giving spirit, as it is the Christmas time, we have Scarlett Sabin on the line to tell you exactly how you can donate those toys. So, Scarlett, how are you?
I'm great. I hope you guys are the same on this foggy Friday.
I know it is incredibly. It's been foggy so much in the past 2 weeks since Thanksgiving.
Oh, so it wasn't the NyQuil?
No.
This is actually
no.
foggy
This is
outside?
actually fog outside. No, you do not have cataracts. No.
Oh my gosh.
At this point, I think we're just going back to the times where I was young, where the fog was so thick you could cut it with a knife.
And you would check for the fog delays?
Absolutely. High school kids are loving this. They don't have to go to school till 10. I am envious.
I remember that when I moved to California, when I was in high school, we did not have fog where I grew up. And I may or may not have driven to an orange orchard.
Oh.
And the first time I drove in the fog, I was safe, but it was scary. I mean, if you're not used to it and but people drive crazy in it, so please stay safe. Your families need you for these holidays.
Absolutely.
Please, everybody, slow down.
Absolutely.
So your big annual toy drive is taking place tomorrow. Let our listeners know more about this and how they can help.
Absolutely. Our friends from Classic Dreams Car Club, they are hosting it at the Bakersfield Ronald McDonald House, which is located directly behind Bakersfield Memorial Hospital on 34th Street. There's going to be a ton of classic cars there. There's going to be some of our friends from Mopars of Bakersfield, from Crawler Crew with some of their vehicles as well. We're going to have hot dogs, hamburgers for everybody that brings a toy out. It's going to be from 10 to 3. And it's just such a great opportunity just to see the holiday spirit. And, you know, people in this town love a good car show. So a little bit of car show thrown in there with a lot of toys and laughter for everybody that's there.
Now,
and, you know, 100% of everything we do in this community, as you both know, stays right here to support our Bakersfield Ronald McDonald House.
Absolutely. And that was going to be one of my next questions, but specify on the toys because you know how people can get. You can't just round up all your kids' old baby toys and take them down there, right?
Thank you for that. No, these need to be new, unwrapped, you know, and we're always short of stuff for a little bit older kids. So, you know, nail polish for girls or a little, you know, makeup kit type of thing. Does not have to be anything fancy, name brands, but and, you know, for the same thing for like the little bit older boys, we could always use Uno and, you know, card games that, you know, older kids might play.
I don't know if you want to give those kids Uno right now, Scarlett. That'll start some fights. The Uno gets very serious.
Oh, Uno is a very serious card game for adults and kids, but
just take out the 6 sevens.
To do with their parents in the room, you know.
Right.
But we just appreciate the community's, you know, love and support as we go into our 17th year of serving families. And, you know, yesterday I celebrated my 17th year as the director of the house.
Really?
Wow.
Like,
congratulations.
Thank you. I'm like, I just realized that. I'm like, oh, it was yesterday. I don't know where the time has gone, but I just think about the countless families that, you know, we have served over the last, you know, 16 plus years. And it's just, you know, been an amazing journey. And this was the very first Classic Dreams, in this event was the very first organization that approached us back in the day about, you know, doing something, and it's just become a great annual tradition. And we may or may not have some fake snow involved tomorrow.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
Well, for some listeners, you know, the Ronald McDonald House has owns a special piece of my heart. You know, when I was growing up, one of my best friends was hit by a vehicle and had to spend a couple of weeks in Memorial Hospital before he passed. And his family was rushing around. They didn't know where to go. They wanted to stay in the hospital, and Ronald McDonald House stepped in and had a place for them to sleep, shower, eat, and gather the family. So for listeners that just think, okay, it's just, the Ronald McDonald, okay, it's McDonald's. Why don't you explain to our listeners just what the Ronald McDonald House of Bakersfield and what they do and how is actually more of a community-based program.
It absolutely is. Our local McDonald's owner operators wanted to know, 20 years ago what it would take to bring a Ronald McDonald House here. But it's really the community alongside that partnership that makes the house, happen. We could not be here without all of our community supporters. And the Ronald McDonald House, we have 7 bedrooms to house families. We have 4 on our long stay side of the house and 3 bedrooms on our short stay house side. We have full kitchen, full laundry facilities, living room, everything that you have at your home, but we're your home away from home. And we serve families. So we're located at Bakersfield Memorial. We serve families from all the area hospitals, from newborns all the way through 21 years of age. And it's just that, that special place. And even though people, come for different reasons to stay with us, sometimes they all have the one common matter, and that's their child is in the hospital. Nobody wants to see their child in pain, hospitalized, or any of that. So we provide that comfort care and, emotional support for the families while they're staying with us.
And that goes so far because I don't think people really realize how expensive a lot of these things can get. And I mean, if you aren't in the hospitals or around it, most people I know don't even want to go to their doctor's visits. And
Correct.
it can get incredibly expensive when your child is very sick and they're in the hospital for multiple days, especially the ambulance drive. I mean, you guys provide all of these things to them when they desperately need it the most. And I think that is one of the best things that Ronald McDonald House is known for, is just being there for people who desperately need it. So I have to congratulate you guys, and I can't do it enough, to be honest.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I understand it from, a personal perspective. My son, who's now 25, was born in Memorial, airlifted down south to UCLA. And just in last year, they opened a Ronald McDonald House near UCLA. And I just think about when I was there and how you would just, I'd stay at my friends in Burbank or whatever, but you're still 30 minutes away. But, with us, you're, if you're on the campus of the hospital, you're 2 minutes away from your child, and even if you're at one of the other area hospitals, Bakersfield's small, you're, 5 to 15 minutes away, just to keep the families close. And it's so important for the mental well-being of the parents that they take care of themselves during their child's illness. And that's what we really, try to instill is you got to take care of yourself. You need to sleep, you need to eat, and be there for your child. So that's what we try to do every day, 365, 24/7.
It astounds me that UCLA hasn't had one closer to them sooner. Do you know how many Ronald McDonald Houses there are around the country?
I do. There's 385 worldwide, and we are one of only 5 in the world physically on hospital property. Typically, they're down the street or across the street, or maybe, on property, but it's blocks away. But we are one of only 5 in the world physically right there on a hospital property. But, we were the 285th house in the world when we opened 16 and a half years ago. So there's been 100 plus houses. And that's not counting the safe spaces inside the hospital for families to take a break called Ronald McDonald Family Room, which, at some point we may, look into doing something like that at one of the hospitals. But we also operate a hospitality cart program where we have this very fun, happy looking cart that we take to the hospital, and we provide snacks and toiletries and blankets and socks and toys and things for the families that are staying there as well. So that maybe don't want to come down to the house because there's only one parent staying by their child, and they really want to be there. But that way we can bring a little bit of our house to them inside the hospital as well.
So the Ronald McDonald House, big toy drive, car drive, tomorrow from 10 to 3 at 420 34th Street, right behind the Memorial Hospital. If they can't make it out there, is there anything else that they can do to help out before Christmas?
You can just drop something off. We're there, you can just drop something off. And if you ever want to figure out how you can get involved with your family, your business, individually, a group, you can always give me a call at 661-437-4130. And we'd love to get you involved, not just during the holidays, but year round. We have so many different events and so many ways to get involved, from coming into preparing meals to, sponsoring our events, getting involved in our various events. And so we'd love to, see what we can do to have more people support the house.
Absolutely.
Well, I hope you have a big turnout, and I'll talk to you later this afternoon on the Money Wise Show. And until then, just be safe.
Yeah, really.
I know, Scarlett, you are a klutz like me, so just be safe. And I'll
Why you
talk
gotta
to
put her
you.
business out like that?
It's
That's
all right.
messed up.
I love Scarlett, but we'll talk to you very soon. And if not, I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks, friends.
Thank you, Scarlett. Let's take a break real quick. We will get to some sports news on the other side. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. We are also streaming video every single weekday from 7 to 9 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I want to thank our friend Scarlett Sabin from the Ronald McDonald House. Go donate a toy tomorrow to their toy drive and go check out the car show. Plus, you can get free food if you actually donate a toy. And like they said, they need toys for older kids specifically. It's easy to pull just a action figure off a wall at Target and go drop it off. grab something for an older kid, for a teen, because those kids are hurting a lot right now too. And they're the ones that have been dealing most likely with a lot of the brunt of their punishment throughout their childhood. So they need some sort of blessing, probably more than the little ones do, in my opinion. But that's just whatever. Let's get into some football news. There's tons of coaching news in the NCAA, and there's a little bit of news in the NFL. Let's start with the NFL, since the NFL and the Players Union have decided to figure out something to fix the ongoing turf problem in the NFL. And they're essentially doing it the exact same way that the NFL allows the players to choose their helmets. They're going to give teams a long list of potential grasses or turfs that they are allowed to use. They have to choose from that list, and it has to be implemented before 2028. The teams are going to start next season, and then over time, everybody is going to have some sort of artificial turf or grass based on this short list that is going to be given to the teams to hopefully finally get rid of all of this hoopla about bad playing surfaces. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's way past due.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, the Jets and Giants always come to mind first, but I mean, they've been complaining it for years, and I'm sure it'll be on multiple thing, or it's just a not all one fix. But I'm glad they're at least addressing it.
Mm.
I mean, it's something that has kind of been clouded over these major injuries for the last, even longer, but at least the last 5 or 6 years.
The interesting thing to me when I was reading this was ESPN claims that artificial turfs are replaced maybe once every 2 to 3 years, while regular grass can get replaced multiple times in one season. And that's obvious because of just the way it's created and how it can withstand so much punishment. But it has always been a topic in my head, especially the last couple seasons, where we keep hearing about all of these fields not being up to code or teams just being lazy about it so they can save money. Whatever the reason is for the turfs and the grass not to be up to par, I've always just wondered, and I said this a couple months ago, I'm pretty sure, why could we not just all use the same one? Why is I get certain grasses grow in certain climates. I understand. But why can't we all just agree on one surface that everybody plays on, just like a basketball court, and we go from there?
It is if you get into the science of it, it's crazy. I mean, I was watching the Dolphin game the first quarter, it was coming down raining, and this guy, the artificial expert of the turf that they use in Miami, he was saying, "Oh, this is the top of the line type. It could take 100,000 gallons of water without even addressing it." And then going to the Raider game a couple weeks ago, being on the field in the back, I mean, I saw almost, the warehouse
Rolls
is full,
upon rolls
and rolls, and I'm
turf.
like, wow, dude, if you just being that close and seeing it, I'm like, damn. I mean, there's a lot of money that they put into this.
Oh, 100%.
And it's just kind of sad that the older stadiums that still use, I've seen ones that we're talking about where they don't even change it out. They'll just they'll paint it.
Mm-hmm.
They'll spray paint certain parts that are rough, and I'm like, really? And you're paying, there's millions of dollars of players on these fields.
We could say who it is, Pittsburgh.
And I'm like, are you
People
kidding
have been
me?
complaining about that in Pittsburgh for years, saying they don't try to fix the grass. They just spray paint it the color so it looks good on television, and you don't even know the difference. And they're one of the biggest teams this year that have been criticized because of the lack of keeping up on the field.
And I've heard from other players that play on certain turfs, and they're saying it's like playing on cement when you land on it. So I'm like, you got to find a middle ground that everyone is happy with, and I don't know if it's that easy.
That's my thing, though. Is are all turfs hard like cement like that? Because the ones I played on, very little. Don't get me wrong, but they've all hurt like hell.
Yeah.
Every time you fall on turf, it hurts like hell. It hurts way more than grass. I'd much rather play on grass.
And it always reminds me of like the wrestling outside the ring. Oh, they're just landing on, soft pads.
No,
like, no, dude, that is cement under that.
Mm-hmm. Well, not even just that, the ring itself.
Yeah.
Everybody always thinks, oh, it's a trampoline.
Soft. It's a trampoline.
No, that is one giant piece of plywood, which is reinforced underneath by metal and a lot of other stuff. It is not a trampoline.
And I finally watched the singer of the Smashing Pumpkins who ended up buying the NWA.
Yeah.
And he broke down, how much work is put into, putting up a ring and that. And
It's
I'm like,
nuts.
looking at that, I'm like, that is all that the ring is. And I'm like you said, the
There
plywood.
are videos on YouTube.
It
You
is.
can go check
It's
it out every
insane.
single day. The craziest part about it is you would expect it to take longer. You really would, but it really is just a handful of pikes with some metal rebar reinforcement, one or two giant things of plywood with a tarp over the top. Like,
And then the ropes are just the strings from elevators, and they just tape them up, and I'm like,
them up.
Wow.
And imagine that too, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, running the ropes would be easy." No, I know we're getting way off topic
Oh, when
here.
you
We're
see
on
like
wrestling and
EO
football,
that fell on during Survivor Series, jumping on a rope, and it's like, it's just a rope.
Yeah,
No, it's
no,
not.
that hurts. That hurts a lot. But again, we're talking about football players here, not wrestlers. At the end of the day, though, I just have never understood why we can't just come to an agreement of everybody playing on one singular surface. Are we playing on grass or are we playing on turf? And then figure out, okay, if we're playing on grass, everybody's playing on this kind of grass. You have to keep it up. Boom. It's not like these teams aren't making enough where you can, hire a gardener or two to take care of your field.
Sponsor.
Exactly. So I've never understood why we can't figure this out. I'm glad to see that the NFL and NFLPA are at least working towards a solution and making it as simple as humanly possible for people, because that really is the long and short of it. Just give them a list. They can only use these ones. If they complain, tell them, tough cookie, figure it out. You have the money. Every team gets paid enough. The other thing in the NFL we got to highlight too, the Walter Payton Award Men of the Year finalists have been announced. I could go down the line here, but honestly, there are 32 men and everybody knows who they are if you are a fan of that team. So hopefully we figure out who wins this year and is a most deserving of the NFL's quote unquote most prestigious award, says Roger Goodell. A couple notable names though: Derrick Henry, Baker Mayfield, Travis Kelce, our own Jordan Love for what he does here locally is the finalist for the Packers. Anybody of significance in your eyes? I know obviously Miami has their own, my friend, and Bradley Chubb, but do you know exactly how much he's been donating to the people in Miami?
I mean, he's had a long time off the field, so I know he had set up his own Chubb Foundation out in Miami, and I mean, the Dolphins have always helped out a lot out in the Miami area, especially with the weather and all the disasters that they've dealt with. But I mean, it's one of those things. It's almost hard to pick a winner.
I mean, all these guys are deserving. They
Yeah.
all donate ridiculous amounts of money to the charities and build their own charities, like Sparky just said. I would love to see the Bakersfield boy win it. Jordan winning it would be awesome, especially for what he does with the Hands of Love stuff from 2020. Yeah, just what he does around here to really empower law enforcement and stuff like that too, which he finds very, very important to him. And that's, locally, and I don't mean to make this a local thing here to Bakersfield, but I have heard locally that there are some people that criticize Jordan and how much he gives back. I think he does plenty. He doesn't, and that's the one thing I kind of don't like about when you're in these types of situations is some people kind of take it upon themselves to say, well, you make millions, so you should give millions. That's not your call. He's still got his own life to live with as well. And honestly, he doesn't have to donate a dang dollar.
Exactly. He doesn't have to do a thing.
He really doesn't.
And I was touched because I have a couple of friends that work with the BPAL, and the way he not only just the cleats, but the way he broke down his story growing up with his dad being a police officer. And it was touching. If you watched the game last week, how he got into his sit down and understood whatever he was doing with his cleats and the money, and they raffled off his cleats and the money's going back to BPAL. So anything to help out the community is awesome.
I really like the My Cleat, My Cause thing that they're doing this year with the NFL. I wish they would extend it to the entire season though, because these guys do this all the time. They all do their specified cleats every single week for whatever reason they want to. And a couple of years ago, the NFL was penalizing players for wearing custom cleats like this, and now they're opening it up because they could see the possibilities of charity and sponsorship. But I feel like they need to allow the players to do this a little bit more. I think if we share more of these stories, especially about all the players, you don't just see the finalists of the Walter Payton Award and what they do. We see all the other players who are also donating their time and money and all of that to give back to their communities. So I think that they should extend that, if I'm being honest. 1-2 week period, it's not enough. I know it like specializes it and it makes it a special thing, but I just don't see it as being enough, if I'm being honest. But talking about coaches,
I was going to say,
real quick.
and the local guys.
Yeah, and the local guys. The new homegrown podcast by the Carr brothers, Derek and David, is getting really, really good. Really good. And they had 2 incredible bites this past week that I should have sent over the Darren Carr one too, especially since today is their playoff game. But the first one that I have to highlight, and we were supposed to play this yesterday, but I, mistakenly forgot it even existed. David made told a very interesting story about Lane Kiffin that I didn't even realize happened. Lane Kiffin was not only David's roommate in college, but was also above him in the depth chart at the quarterback position until David got there. And David makes a very interesting point on maybe he is a big reason why Lane Kiffin got into coaching. So let's hear the audio real quick.
I should be owed some of the fictional contract that he doesn't know anything about.
100%.
Because I pushed him out of that third quarterback spot.
Yes.
And then he became the 5th quarterback.
So what happened was here comes this freshman from Stockdale High School.
Yeah, here he comes.
You're whipping the ball all over the
throwing
field.
it around.
Don't even know what you're doing.
Teddy's like, this kid's pretty good.
This kid. He said you're going to be a draft pick.
Lane's taking 3 steps trying to throw 15-yard comebacks and half rolling because his arm is weak as sauce.
Yes.
Weak sauce. But hey, he knew the game now. Lane knew the game.
So long story short,
after a couple days, now I'm getting the 3rd team reps.
And Lane
I came in as the 5th.
And Lane's no longer.
Lane came out, didn't have pads on.
Is your roommate, though?
He didn't have pads on. He claims he only didn't have a knee brace on. That man came out in civvies. And Jeff caught him at the numbers and said, Lane, what are you doing? He's like, hey, I just figured I don't need my pads today. You're going to give Dave all my reps. Back to the locker room. Lane, Teddy. So I don't have an offensive coordinator on the field. I don't have my roommate, Lane. And then Lane comes back out. He's got a polo on.
Yep.
Same day.
Yeah.
Wide receiver coach. That's how the coaching started. And so I feel like if I would not have pushed him out of that 3rd spot, he'd still be playing
100%
quarterback in the CFL.
The dominoes that fell.
That's right.
Started with you.
That's right.
We love Lane.
We love Lane.
Happy for you, Lane.
Yeah. Great. Congratulations on nothing, I guess.
Well, he doesn't know.
He's just coaching.
I'm here for the kids.
I just wanted to go coach the Tigers.
For the vibes, man. Here for the kids.
I just want to coach the Tigers.
Hey, like when you get up there and you break it down on family on 3.
Yeah. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3. Sometimes.
The last part is what gets me every time. But do you think he has a point here? Do you think that he should get at least some credit for Lane Kiffin's coaching career?
If the stories are right, I would. I mean, he forced somebody out into coaching that quick.
Well, my argument is this, and it's very simple, but I highly doubt the son of Monty Kiffin, longtime defensive coordinator and legendary coach, didn't find his way to the coaching booth at some point, especially if his arm was as weak as David highlights.
Weak sauce?
I haven't heard that in years, by the way. These 2 are doing a fantastic job on the Homegrown podcast, though. If you haven't watched it, you really need to start because it's great. And the other bite, which, again, I failed to send to Sparky this morning, I should have, highlighted their brother, Darren, who is the head coach here at Bakersfield Christian and will be playing for another state championship, hopefully, if he wins tonight. And the boys win tonight, and we'll be seeing another state championship headed this way to Bakersfield. But they brought up an interesting point. Darren's won 100 games and lost 1. That's incredible. Like, if I'm a college anywhere near the California area, I'm knocking on the car door saying, hey, bud. I'm surprised Fresno State hasn't tried to reach out.
That's what I was just going to say.
I'm surprised. I'm like, you got a guy that's winning this much, granted at the high school level, and maybe Darren doesn't want to leave the area. I can't speak for the man. He seems like a very nice guy. I've met him on multiple occasions. But I'm surprised none of these colleges have reached out and say, hey, we know you crush it, so let's see what you could do at the college level. Maybe that's on the horizon, though. And could you imagine if we get all of the Carr brothers on a college coaching staff,
That's
maybe
what's
even dad
next.
too? That'd be interesting,
All
especially at the
Fresno
Fresno
State.
State.
Yeah.
I,
Not
I'm,
Fresno.
you know how Bakersfield feels about Fresno, but I'm pretty sure a good amount of Bakersfield folk would be paying for some season tickets if we knew that the Carr brothers were taking over down there. I'm just saying, because I could see it. Darren in there as head coach, David as the offensive coordinator, Derek comes in as the quarterback coach, and maybe dad comes in as an assistant. That'd be incredible. And that'd be a really cool story for the NCAA too, especially if they make the playoff. Let's take a break, though. On the other side, we're going to get to our second guest of the day, good friend of the show, Chris Flail will be joining us, talk all things Philadelphia sports. Plus, he's probably got a couple of comedy shows that he wants to pump up as well.
And he's done for the year.
Oh, he's done for the year. That's shocking. Somebody as busy as him, I never thought he'd be done for the year.
I think he's taking that break and just putting all his effort into wrestling.
Fantastic. Yeah, if you guys don't follow him on social media, he is one of the funnier comedians, especially when it comes to the WWE stuff. He's great to follow. Go check him out at Chris Flail. We'll be talking to him here momentarily. This is the Early Bird Special, however, right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. We are also streaming video live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Second hour of the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. I am Chris Burdick. That is Bill Belichick.
It's Chris Flail.
Yeah, I've
He's
had withdrawals
back.
not seeing you
What?
boys.
Our
It's been
boy
too
is
long.
back. Look at him all dressed up.
Why with the Bill Belichick impression at the moment, though? Why are we putting the hood
Oh,
up?
I was wondering if you
Is
were
it
going
me?
8 Mile, like about to lock
Oh,
in
there
and
we
spit
go.
some
Oh,
bars.
There we
that
go.
too.
It's an Eminem thing.
Yeet.
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 Sir, good to see you.
Great
Welcome
to be back. Thanks for
How was
having
the
me.
trip?
Yeah, really.
The trip was amazing. We were talking about it a little bit off microphone. We went to Mexico City and Merida for 10 days. And
That
it
food
was
you posting, man.
food was unbelievable all across the board too. Like they had taco stands that were open till 4:00 in the morning, but they also had some of the best Italian food I've ever eaten. It was just amazing.
Really?
I was telling Burdick I had to bite my fingers off because I found an expat comedy scene in Mexico City, and I almost messaged them to jump on shows like 9 times. I was like, just be on vacation. Don't come back
Yeah.
miserable and tired.
See, I still really wish you would have jumped on stage, though, and your wife would have recorded that and put it on YouTube. That would have been hilarious.
It would
to
have gone
see.
okay there, but as we were talking about a little
Yeah.
bit, I did a show in Bangkok, Thailand, a comedy show. I did a comedy show in Bangkok,
Really?
Thailand.
Phrasing.
once.
Wow.
Want to be specific about that, and that was maybe, gosh, that had to be 6-7 years ago. When I was newer to headlining shows and doing a half hour,
And you headlined it.
I headlined it because I was the American, and American comedy is,
Yeah.
that's a big ticket out there
Hell
to get
yeah.
an American comedian out in Bangkok. And so I headlined the show and did a half an hour, but it wasn't until I was 5 minutes on stage that I realized that, oh, they don't have a frame of reference for almost anything that
your
I'm
jokes.
referencing on stage. Yeah. Like I'm talking about my fiance who's first generation from Mexico, and they've never met a Mexican person in their life. And so I'm talking about all that stuff. And I see the eyes glazing over and I go, oh, we've got to go general.
Switch it up.
I talk about my student loans and they're like, they have
No
they have
clue what that
primary school,
is.
secondary school, and it's just all, I guess it's all rolled in. Yeah.
Still
Long
one of
night,
my
long
favorite
night.
videos. You did the video outside the or inside the hotel room watching wrestling, and your wife's just giving you crap like, "What? We're
are we
on
doing?
vacation. What are you doing?"
Watching wrestling, of course.
Mhm.
You have to keep the priorities.
Did I tell you we went to a AAA luchador? We were in Mexico
Really?
City.
Nice.
Sat ringside for Dirty Dom and El Grande Americano against Vikingo
And Dragon Lee?
Dragon Lee.
Oh, very cool.
By the way, the crowd was so it was about a 5,000, 6,000 seat arena.
Mhm.
You went to the event in Bakersfield, right?
Mhm.
I loved it, but I was also sick immediately afterwards. It was very stuffy. Hygiene wasn't a pre. I love all of you in
Well,
this
this is
town.
open top, isn't it? Don't they have an open top arena for
It-
AAA?
It was enclosed, the one that we were in, but it was well ventilated. I think they had all the doors open. Like it was
Maybe that's what it is.
extremely comfortable. And we had fold out chairs on the aisle, so we got to stretch out a little bit. But
Nice.
it was the building was only 5,000 seats, but the building explodes in such a way that it is amazing. We got to see everything. So we got to
Wrestling down there is a different animal.
It
man.
really
It's
is.
so much fun. I've every time I've watched AAA, I've left so impressed and so entertained.
Were you able to hear the things they were chanting at Vikingo?
More than
El
likely
Hijo del
not. You know how
Vikingo?
you know how American television works. They cut all that. out.
We were wondering because they were very loud and there were a lot of like 4 to 10-year-olds chanting very nasty things at Vikingo and also not fans of his mother, apparently. Just
No, that man is like, if you think Dom gets a lot of heat or did, no, Vikingo is hated in Mexico.
he's an incredible heel, and they were chanting, like I said, very suggestive things about his own madre.
This
and
is the kid that I was telling you about yesterday when we did the top 30, under 30. The one I
Yeah.
told you was from AAA is their top guy. That's Vikingo.
And they don't like him.
They hate
oh, if he gets on a diet plan, he's going to take over. He's
Oh,
a little he's got a little thickness going on to really hit the mainstream and move some merch, but
I couldn't tell you the history of why they hate him so much, but it was, from what I understand, it was kind of like a Roman Reigns thing where AAA was really just shoving them down the fans' throats and they hated it. So they've really just
So they've
grown
embraced
to-
it.
Yeah,
Force feed him.
they've
He's like
a
really
What about
loved
Dom?
him now.
he's like a 5'7" Roman Reigns.
That's-
Dirty Dom was incredible, but it was El Grande Americano that
That was my next
he
question.
took the mic at the end of the
Mhm.
show when TV went off and sang with it was like I wanted to cry sitting in the audience. It was like this beautiful, and I was
so beautiful.
I was trying to explain to people outside of wrestling is you don't understand, like the beauty of the WWE. This character, El Grande Americano, started out with a 5'6" U.S. Olympian that did this to antagonize the Mexican people, almost like Gulf of America style. And then he got hurt, and instead of shelving the character, the next week, a 6'4" German guy came out, but he happens to speak Spanish, so the crowd kind of liked him, and he embraced it more, and he started singing, and now he's the biggest wrestler in all of lucha.
Really?
Apparently
They
El
love him?
Grande is
They
huge
love
down
the
there.
whole arena stuck around to sing with him.
Right
They
on.
followed him in a parade. I was so excited, but I was in like the third row and I was hiding because I was afraid they were going to put the microphone to me, and I didn't know how to sing any of the songs.
Well, that's cool because that wrestler was on his way out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That was going to be my next point, though, is do they ever let him drop the gimmick now?
Oh, he can't.
No,
he has to
no.
stay El Grande for the rest
I don't
of
know.
his life.
I don't know why he. I don't know why. I mean,
Ludwig Kaiser is now El Grande Americano.
Yeah, there is no-
forever.
That's
there
why
is no.
Tippy's like, I'm
Gunther's
out.
Best friend.
Yeah. There's no
Oh my
Kaiser
God.
anymore. That man doesn't exist.
That's
It's
Well,
hilarious.
El
that's
Grande
good because it
Americano.
was getting kind of hard to watch Ludwig.
Well, in America, like on the WWE product, it was just always a joke. And to be honest with you, I was getting fed up with the joke. But I mean, you're right. Every time I see him in AAA, they love him. They
Oh.
love it. They think it's amazing.
Oh,
His crowd interaction is fantastic. And it all stems around the fact that he can fluently speak Spanish pretty much.
I mean, the crowd loved Dom, but El Grande Americano stole the show. And one thing I realized too, being that up close and personal to these wrestlers, they're almost all a lot leaner. I realized I do have to lose some weight. They're a lot. This is why I'm getting hurt so much doing shoulder press for no reason at all.
Dude, I
They're a
was
lot
thinking the
leaner.
same thing because when I went to the Raider Cowboy game and I'm standing with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, I'm like, dude, these guys aren't as big as I was expecting.
Athletes have really moved away from the bulk aspect of being an athlete. It's now about being flexible and being able to stay.
But they are like 0% fat.
Yes.
I'm like
Yeah.
muscle on muscle.
100%.
Now, I did say I need to lose some weight and lean out, clearly looking at these guys. And then we left and I ate 9 pastor tacos at 1 o'clock in the morning. So that's how good my regiment has gone
You're
so
having
far.
a good time.
Not-
It's vacation.
I'm also very curious though, just to see what the difference is here. But how much did you pay for the ringside?
I think for the two of us, it was like $250 for ringside.
Still.
For
I'll go
ringside.
ringside down there in
For
AAA every
ringside.
day for $250.
By the way, life humbles you all the time. So I'm sitting there and I'm third row, and part of I hate to admit this, but part of my brain is going, I wonder if anybody's scoping out. Like, I wonder if anyone was looking at the people in the stand and sees that I've got a little bit of a following. Maybe they'll come do something.
Get a follow.
And I see them come over to some guy in the front row, and they're making him a part of the show. And I'm like, who's this? And they're like, I forget what his name is, like El Capi or something like that. And I'm, who's this dude? And I look him up. He's got 6 million Instagram followers. Like, okay, no one's worried about my little.
Nope.
No one's worried about my little skitskis that
They
I'm doing.
are,
during
See,
the
I
week
go
after
out there
this.
and I look like Kenny Powers when he was in Mexico playing baseball. I'm like, they all look at and
you
laugh
grow-
at me.
Let's say if you grow out the hair and grow a mustache, maybe you can get away with Andrew Schultz down there in
I could
Mexico.
try that.
but
Yeah.
I could
God
I
only
could try
knows.
that. Get a little slick.
Well,
back
I mean, if
hair.
we're talking wrestling, I know you've been on vacation. I was telling Burdick before you came in, you're off for the rest of the year, right?
I'm shutting her down for the rest of the year. What I'm trying to do, what I'd like to do this next year is book my own, I don't want to say tour, but I just want to book from springtime to the end of the year,
Right.
running my own shows in different towns now that the following's starting to build up pretty
Nice.
good, and see if I can call my own shot. You know, for the last, me and the buddies have talked about this before. Don't get me wrong, it's great.
Right.
But after, let's say, 8-9 years of the regional bookers, an occasional, bigger thing will pop up. I'm trying to do, like, I don't want to spend the next 10 years just doing victory laps of the same 22 shows
Of
every year.
course.
So I'm trying to book my own. So I'm looking at springtime, probably March, April, try to get a full run from there through maybe the end of the fall of booking my own stuff and see how that goes.
Well,
Absolutely.
anything we could do to help, let us know.
I appreciate that.
We got you. But my thing is, we haven't talked to you since War Games.
Yes.
And we've had a couple guests on. We had our usual KG. We had a buddy Corey that was actually at the event.
Mhm.
Cool.
What was your overall thoughts of it?
I love it, and I hope you don't mind I digress, but talking about this is the way, I don't know who the guests are, but this is the way we as guests are. I can already feel in this beautiful chair that you guys have gotten for us guests how we treat things that aren't our own. This chair, you've had this chair for 4 weeks, and 6 weeks. Last time I was here, I said, one of you need to make this your own because it's the most wonderful chair I've ever sat on. It's falling apart already.
Of course.
Just from the 11 of us guests that you let just ruin everything.
Look, man, we like you guys to be comfortable. However you treat it, though, is yours. So if you
we
break
own it
it,
now.
that's not on me. I'm not helping you after
So
this.
the next sponsor shows up. This is the chair. War Games, I liked it, but the only downside to me was with I knew everything that had to happen. Stephanie Vaquer was never going to lose to Nikki Bella. The good guys in War Games were never going to beat the bad guys. The only thing I thought was that maybe Braun would spear Brock Lesnar. I thought that would be a great storyline. Cool. Because Paul Heyman has been given unusual attention to Lesnar, and he doesn't even come out with the goons anymore when Lesnar's involved. So I thought there would be something there. I knew the good gals were going to win the War Games, and it was going to be, I called it jam band style. Everybody plays their best hits, and then you get out of there. I can't even remember what the other match was. There was a fourth one.
Well, you have the Dom and John match.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The Intercontinental.
Cena.
Yes. Knew there. As a matter of fact, I did a TikTok video where I called them all out that Liv was returning. There's going to be interference, and it was a great show. I heard the crowd wasn't very happy about it.
I wouldn't be surprised, but it's weird in San Diego because Dom, the reaction to Dom was very mixed from what I understand. Because again, he's still a heel, so there's a lot of people that don't like him, but he's from San Diego, so a lot of the San Diego faithful didn't want to boo their own guy. So I don't know exactly if they were unhappy with the way it went about, but it was a really random thing because you didn't need Liv to come out and do that for Dom to have won.
No.
You know what I mean? Like Liv picking up the title and hitting John in the back with it would have sufficed rather than getting the whole double turn, Dom, getting slapped in the face and her jumping on John for some reason and nobody understood why. And I made the point of, if this was supposed to be comedy based, you put the camera on the wrong person. You should have put the camera on John's face, because if you see the pictures from the opposite side, John's like, I have no idea.
Yes.
Yeah. Hot. Huh? Like that's where the funniness would have came. Then you show Liv's like,
especially
crazy
because they've been showing him kiss his wife in the front row after a lot of his matches. That would be pretty.
Is that
great.
who it is?
Yeah, it's his wife.
Yeah.
That's his now wife.
I had no
That'd have
idea.
been wild. It'd have been wild if he's just kissing someone in the front row every show.
Who knows?
I'm pretty sure there are plenty of women in the front row that would gladly.
I was going to say, because I liked the Liv setup, because if you watch Raw afterwards, she's back.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyone would kiss John Cena.
That's what I'm saying.
Out of respect, I'd kiss him too. If you wanted a kiss,
he is the
on
GOAT.
December 13th, I would give him one.
Hey, look, man, kiss him on top of the head. He's the GOAT. I don't
The
care what
amount you
gotta
pay for those ringside tickets, you should get a kiss.
Absolutely.
I don't know if they're burying storylines or what, but the Liv endorsing Raquel and Roxanne thing is weird, because they seemed to have been setting up in the weeks past that there was going to be a cheating storyline with Dom and Roxanne. Like, I don't know if you noticed they did their backstage segments, and Dom said a thing is like, I never cheated ever. And the camera didn't pan, but Roxanne put her head down and kind of giggled a little bit. And I was like, ooh, they're setting something up. Maybe they're burying leads to do a long-term, WrestleMania-ish big reveal. I don't know, but at the moment, it seems like a missed opportunity.
We've been talking about them breaking up the Judgment Day for, it seems like, over a year.
My whole tenure, yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon, because they go
just
back and forth with, is Finn going to do it? Is Finn going to stab Dom in the back? No, Finn and JD come out and are homies with him and everything seems fine. And then Liv comes out and it looks like he's mad. She's mad at Dom, but no, she's not. She's just helping Dom. A lot of this stuff doesn't add up, but we'll see what happens.
It's got to be hard too with the evolution of Dom turning almost babyface with the crowd to heel.
Right.
So
he's organically going through the same thing that Damian and Rhea did.
Yes.
Because when Damian and Rhea first started with Edge on Judgment Day, everybody was a heel. They were all bad, and there was nothing that was loved about them. Then, just organically, Damian and Rhea became faces. Everyone loved them, and now Dom is going through the same thing.
By the way, brilliant move by WWE strategists. They kind of turned him back heel in the last couple. He's getting more boos now instead of cheers, by doing what turns out to be probably the only thing that could get the crowd to turn on him. put him against John Cena and bring his dad back. It was a really good move and I'm surprised they didn't bring Ray out in San Diego.
Honestly,
They did the
I was
pre-show, but-
expecting.
I genuinely was hoping Ray was going to come down and help John at some point and just make this interesting. Because like you, I didn't want to see John lose the belt.
Right.
I knew it was going to happen, but I was really hoping that the winner of the last chances now tournament would also be walking away with the IC belt. But when you looked at the final four, none of them really benefited from getting the IC title.
And before we get into that, who do you think was the
The masked man.
the masked man?
Which Seth is on Good Morning Football now all day, just flailing his arms around like he's healthy. I'm like, God, I hate this guy sometimes. Like,
I said on that night, I said I think it's Randy Orton. My brain keeps telling me that it's not because Randy Orton's a big boy, but he was wearing all black hoodie and sweats, which makes you look the smallest. I said Randy Orton right off the bat. Everybody keeps saying Austin Theory. I sure hope it's not him. I like Austin Theory, but from a build storyline standpoint, it doesn't do a whole lot to elevate the conversation. But if it's Orton, now you're talking.
I agree, but I've made the point that I think if you bring Austin Theory back as a completely different Austin Theory, like we're not looking at the joke guy who hit or kicked John Cena in the nuts to win the U.S. title. We're looking at a legitimate wrestler.
Yeah.
Somebody that Paul Heyman has some respect and, admiration for, because that is what the storyline was supposed to be before the Seth injury. He was supposed to become part of this, I think, the last PLE before War Games, and was supposed to be the Drew McIntyre edition. To the War Games match, but the only ones that I've heard that make a lot of sense to me are Carmelo Hayes, Montez Ford. I've been wrapping my head around that with KG's thoughts, and Austin Theory.
The thing I always come down to that I struggle the most with, which is what drove me to Randy, which is why this guy coming in as a masked man is scarier than anyone else in the Brock Lesnar, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul. Who could it be that adds some cachet and fear that none of those have? And the only one that I settled on was Randy. Because he's the Viper. He'll go after anybody, and he's not aligned with that. He walks his own path. I don't know.
I would have thought that if you went after Cody.
Yes. Yeah. If we saw some sort
That's
of
a good point.
Like inkling that he was going to turn heel and go after Cody, I'd agree with you. But the other thing that I think of, it's kind of like the Brock Lesnar thing and why I don't think he'll ever join the Vision. What does he gain from joining the group? You know what I mean? Like Randy's gone through this already with the Evolution, literally the exact same thing. So it's not really a smart move to put him back into a group that does the same.
And
you know what I mean?
that is my question is, I'm losing my voice, but is it have anything to do with the Vision?
Probably not, honestly.
Because the way they played it,
I think this is going to be a spin of they're going to build Braun Breaker against CM Punk for Mania. Most likely Seth comes back at some point in time during that, in which we figure out who the masked man was, who's probably working with Seth. It'll probably end up being Austin Theory. And then we see what happens. By
the way, there's a chance that the masked man that we get isn't the masked man that was, because now they've got the ultimate creative freedom. They've let us speculate for a couple weeks, and now they can almost let us dictate where they react in the storyline.
Our Corey Costello had the exact same point. It's like, just because the guy climbed the ring in a all black suit doesn't mean it's going to be the same guy that shows up next time they talk about this. And you're absolutely right. It could be just a body double. It could have been anybody in NXT.
Because it wasn't Seth.
No,
it definitely wasn't Seth.
It was built to look like Seth.
But if Seth comes out and says it was him from a storyline standpoint, that if they say they faked the mutiny on Seth to do this whole thing, that's a great story.
I agree.
They can run with that.
But again, it would just be another reason to never believe or trust Seth ever again as a wrestler, because again, we went through the knee thing. If this is another one of those situations where he was injured, but it wasn't as bad as he really made it out to be, I'm going to be upset, but at the same time, I'm going to look at it and say, gosh dang it, are you not turning into the greatest wrestler of this generation?
Sparky's excited. Are you excited with happiness, or that you hate Seth Rollins?
No, dude,
I love Seth.
He has grown on him so much over the last, because I remember when we first started the show, he wasn't crazy about Seth's like outfits and the crazy cackling and all that stuff.
Oh,
but, dude, I've
his
seen you
wife
turn around on him.
I love Becky too. So I think they're perfect.
Oh, they're great.
They're a perfect couple.
They really are a fantastic wrestling couple. But moving on to the next topic at hand, which
Please.
is the match we're going to see tonight. Who comes out the winner of the last? Or are we finally going to with a little bit of credibility? Because I personally think you have been building LA Knight to be a heel for the last 2 months. It would be the perfect switch over for him to just brutally take out everybody's goat. And then we get LA Knight as a heel going after guys like Cody, guys like Punk, and finally potentially winning a big title.
So I think they're gonna give the nudge to LA Knight this time.
I sure dang hope so.
But I'm conflicted on a number of things. I still think that John's last match, he's gonna go out a winner. I don't think they're gonna beat him to go out. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two is I think LA Knight is finally gonna get the win and get his shine. But the beauty of wrestling is they're giving me what I want and making me unhappy with it, because they've clearly suppressed him artificially for the last 2 years. And now they're embracing the storyline that he's being artificially suppressed for the last 2. And I'm like, don't wink and nod to us like you haven't actually been doing this. You know, don't make
as if this wasn't the plan.
Don't make this a work when it was clearly a shoot the whole time. Just because we caught you, don't go, oh yeah, I guess I am Santa. No, you did this, okay? You did this, and now you sit in it and you realize that you were wrong. You bad WWE.
Absolutely.
And so I think they're going to give him the nudge over Gunter, because I don't think I love Gunter, but I don't want to watch John take 997 chest chops in his last
I made
match.
the point to him. I don't think people really realize how boring that's going to be and how bad of an ending that would be for John's career. Because one, I disagree with you on that he's going to win. I think the wrestling world would love to see him win because he is the GOAT. But John is too much of a guy who respects the game, and for him to go out not on his back would be an insult to wrestling.
Well, John has a soft spot for LA Knight too.
This is true. And I'm telling you, we could just bring him back for 1 week. He doesn't have to wrestle, but we could have the greatest face-off on a mic between LA Knight and John Cena before this match.
Oh yeah,
ever.
Oh yeah.
And I'm telling you, if you
Stone Cold Jr.
If you squander that opportunity,
the more I watch LA Knight, that's all I see is Stone Cold.
Oh yeah, 100%. You could see the influence from the attitude.
Stone Cold and The Rock in a shaker.
100%. Yeah, because he sounds more like The Rock, but he talks like Stone Cold does.
Yeah.
But personally, this would be the best way to just authentically create a heel that can finally go up against somebody like Cody Rhodes and CM Punk in the same way as being a megastar. You know what I mean?
By the way, I'm sorry to bring us back here because I feel like I do this all the time, and I do like Jey Uso. But what are they doing with him? First of all, again,
before we get into that, because that could be another 10-minute interview. We got to go to break real quick. We will get into what they're doing with Jey Uso and the Usos in general. Plus, I want to get your thoughts on the Philadelphia Eagles right now and everything going on, because offensively, we have yet to see you guys actually reach a peak yet.
I'm excited for them and Cowboy Talk.
Absolutely. So we'll get to that after the break. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. we even get the Seth Rollins song coming back. I swear, if we don't get some sort of reunion of the Shield one day, though, my heart as a wrestling fan will die. This is the Early Bird Special, though, right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. We are also streaming video live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Feel free to join us on any platform, whichever one you do. We just appreciate you being here. Our guy Chris Flail is in the building, and it sounds like he may be sticking around for the entire hour.
I'm not leaving.
He's not leaving.
And let's get into that yeet talk.
Yes. So there's been a lot of talk around the internet of what they're going to be doing with the Usos in general, because there's a lot of want to bring them back as a tag team. Personally, I don't want to see it. I think we've seen enough of them as a tag. I don't think they benefit from being a tag team at all anymore. However, there were moments in that match against LA Knight where you can visibly see some frustrations between him and LA.
Sure.
I don't know if that is a behind the scenes rivalry that we're just seeing leak out a little bit.
Yes.
We saw the spot of the superplex kind of going rough, and that's really where you saw Jay get pissed and bang the floor and all that type of stuff.
Well, sure, the in-ring technician he is, how couldn't he be upset?
Well, but I think that's exactly why he was angry, is because he's probably so fed up with hearing all these people on the internet saying he botches everything. Every match he has is a problem. Like, I personally would be pissed off too. And it's not even him that messed up this time. It's LA Knight, but it's still going to go down as one of his matches with a big problem in the middle of it.
I might have to jump on the therapy couch here for this, because I'm going to talk my way around as always. You guys know me. We've known each other a while. This is what I do. Between the two of them, Jey Uso, he seems to be a very nice guy, a very likable guy in real life. He does not appear to be good in the ring. He doesn't have a large skill set. He doesn't have a large move set. He botches a lot during matches.
That's fair.
He can be pretty terrible on the microphone. He is a great marketer and sells fantastically to 6-year-olds.
Oh, yeah.
LA Knight, great in-ring technician. One of the best on the microphone. Not extremely likable and doesn't sell very well to 6-year-olds. And this is the inverse of my life and my passions. As a former lawyer, I was a very nice, likable guy. I wasn't very good at all. As a comedian, I'm a very good comedian. I'm not extremely likable in the green room. So I feel this. I feel LA Knight's pain. But where we're at is LA Knight beats Jey Uso, and they act like they're giving him the nod, but they do it on a roll him up sneak pin. So it's like he doesn't beat him. And then afterwards, for like 6 minutes, as though this is the John Cena farewell tour, they do a reaction shot on Jey Uso to get the crowd to try to like, oh, come on, that's okay. It's like, why is this the only guy that we don't let sink or swim on his own merit in this place?
I think it's because, one, the entrance has become such an enigma in itself. People love the yeeting. They love being a part of it, that it has created him as just this face that they're never going to get rid of. Because you're right. I mean, there are areas of his game where he lacks, but I think that you could really tie that back to the fact that he's always been a tag team wrestler.
And I want to love him. And so like I look at this and I go, hey, do your worm, Scotty Too Hottie, but do it for the Intercontinental title. You know?
I mean,
do it for the US belt, not for the heavyweight championship.
Well, and again, you also have to take into account that this guy is in his 40s, much like his cousin Roman. He doesn't have very much left in his career.
Yeah.
Him and Jimmy both are most likely going to be staring down a retirement here in the next 5-10 years.
Yeah.
So
10 years?
Well, again, 5-10 years in wrestling, because that you can
I just
stretch
want
it out.
Uso to fight Uso and get it over with.
But we already got that in at WrestleMania, and it sucked.
But
Let's be honest.
He's never gone clearly to the performance center to work on the craft.
No.
He's not doing enough to work on his skills on the mic. He's never made the nutritional and body commitments that Roman has made.
There's been a lot of rumors of him, drinking a lot too. So I know there was the match with CM Punk previously that CM Punk was complaining backstage that he was missing moves, and that's when he grabbed the water bottle and put it over his
sprayed
face.
it on him. And that's what I'm saying, is like he's become such a pariah now that it's like anytime anything bad happens, whether it's him or his opponent, it's going to now show on him. And I think that's why you see the frustrations.
Well, and as a performer with a belly who didn't used to have one, I know what it looks like when you're eating candy after the shows. I very much know what it's like.
Yeah. And I mean, and you can tell he's been working out with Braun Breaker. He's been trying to get himself in shape, but there are certain aspects.
He's been bench pressing with
No,
Braun
trust me.
Breaker.
When you look back at what he used to look like to what he looks like now,
Yeah.
like, not to throw shade or anything, but there's a reason Jimmy doesn't take his shirt off.
Yeah.
And it's very much was the same thing with Jay for a lot of the time until they really needed to figure out, okay, which one's Jimmy and which one's Jay.
That is a good point.
So
they barely
for a
look like
long
twins.
time, Jay was the one with his shirt off and an arm sleeve. Jimmy was the one with the t-shirt and the backwards hat. Like that's just kind of how it worked. And the more that happened, the more he had to work out. And obviously it just becomes more and more now that you're a singles wrestler. And like I said, you can't really lean on your brother to be the other half of you as a wrestler, because that's essentially what they were. They were two halves of the same guy.
Yeah.
So I think that's essentially where we are right now with his career, is he's got to find a way to take in all that stuff that Jimmy does well and make it his own.
Well, before we get into football, and you brought up Braun Breaker, what'd you think about that promo?
I thought it was good, and I
Wow.
thought he started to sound like his uncle a little bit too, which is really exciting. And
Scott.
And he's so young that storylines have so much time to develop. When he turns into the Big Papa and starts calling out his freaks, I hope he does that at some point, because he's got that capability. That's what he did. I mean, it didn't blow me away, and especially they do this thing now, and I think this is just a sign of the times, where they had to acknowledge that it was a great moment on the mic. Like, you don't have to all go, oh.
Well, it was starting to go downhill for a second, and I was like, oh, he's gonna
once he
lose
got
this.
emotional,
and he got back in it, I was like, there we go.
That's the thing. I think he needs to really realize that a good amount of his, like, what makes him great is the passion and
The
emotion.
anger.
Yeah, his anger. Exactly.
For me, if they would have gone with, for brevity's sake, when he called CM Punk the curse word, if they would have wrapped it up about 10 seconds later and then gone into, you said I couldn't cut a promo, it would have been a shatter the mic moment.
That was great.
They did let him go about 45 seconds too long.
The look on Paul Heyman's face, on Logan Paul's face behind him after he drops that, and he says, "Now let's see if you can cut a promo, kid." And I'm just like, oh,
he stormed off, and they all looked like, were we supposed to leave
like,
with him, or what are we doing?
It's also an insult to hear that Punk told him that. That tells me you had no idea who this kid was in NXT, because this guy has been crushing it in NXT for years.
I will say, I don't know if you all run into this, but there is that among performers and workers. Even if he does, there's just a
snide, like, I'm still better than you, so you have to prove yourself to me thing.
I can't tell you how many times either a friend of mine or, like, I've been on, I know some of the funniest people in the world that people don't know. Like, I can't tell you how many times a hacker or a Dan Betts or somebody like that lights the room on fire, and they come back to the green room, and somebody in the green room goes, how'd you feel up there? What'd you think of which is like a comedian's way of going, like, it was okay. How did you, instead of going, that was awesome, they go, how did you feel up there?
Right.
Because how did you
think it went?
How did you think you did up there?
And then we'll tell you what we think you did.
So I could very much see, especially knowing Punker's lifestyle, to just even they showed the video backstage when Punk came back during War Games. Randy Orton saying to him, "You just couldn't give me my moment, could you?" I think passive aggression is their love language a little bit, because they're giant men who can't actually hit each other.
That's why I
cannot stand CM Punk.
That's why I love hearing Paul Heyman. When you, like, I have gone and watched every interview of Paul Heyman's, not just because I respect the guy, but because I love the stories. But every single time he talks about a story where he cut a promo that was incredible, he'll go back into Gorilla and say, "Now follow that," and walk away. It's like, that right there is the mentality that I think that Braun Breaker needs to have. Is if he comes in and cuts promos like that, and then looks at everybody on top and says, "Now follow that, dumb," and walk away, I think he'd become probably bigger than both his dad and his uncle ever were.
I think it's coming.
I think it is too.
I think it's coming.
And the best part of that promo was the spike down of the mic, and then Logan Paul grabbing it and said, "Damn," and walking away. That was great.
That's just the thing. He has everyone around him. He's got Paul Heyman, the Oracle, but then he has these media savvy people like Logan Paul.
And do you think I know Paul has been dancing around the question ever since War Games, and he still has yet to say if it's a permanent thing or not. But I kind of want to see Logan Paul as a permanent thing in the Vision. I
I
kind of do.
am in love with Logan Paul as a WWE performer, and
And
my
can-
fiance hates it. And she goes, "Oh, here's your boyfriend
Could
on
you
TV."
imagine though, dude, like him getting the Paul Heyman treatment, getting
That's
Paul
funny.
at his shoulder. He's already good now. Wow, the
Again,
guy you could get.
And my wife does the same when Oscar comes out.
I speak
Hey,
this.
babe, your
Your girlfriend's
girlfriend's on.
here.
I speak this from experience too. When it comes to Logan Paul, he's one of the most talented people in the world, performers in the world, and also he's got the most important dimension for pushing that forward that almost no one in the population, including myself, has, and I have some peers that do, and they've got a rocket ship attached to them. He's extremely talented and complete sociopath, and
Yep.
that's important to have.
You have to be at
Ye-
points.
I mean, he is a. They
Like,
talked about him fighting Floyd Mayweather, and they said his heart rate didn't even raise one beat. He is legitimately a clinical sociopath.
yes.
I don't want to go to dinner with him. He's a nightmare human being. But as someone who entertains me, you can't beat him. right?
Honestly, I do argue that sometimes with my friends because I grew up hating the Paul brothers, could not stand Jake and Logan. Now I respect both of them to the utmost just because of that.
Mhm.
They've been able to, one, turn their attention into money, and two, they have attacked it in a way where you would never have thought these kids would have lasted this long.
Yep.
I mean, these guys were Vine kids that should have died with the app, but they never did. They adapted every single time to YouTube, now
Yeah.
to sports, and they're just taking everything by storm, and they do it their way. I respect the hell out of it.
I mean, I'm never falling asleep within a square mile of them.
No.
But they are tremendous talents.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
again, and to a level, like I said earlier, as weird as it is to say, you kind of have to be a sociopath to be this type of person. You have to be a sociopath to be an incredible entertainer
Mhm.
because there are so many people in this world that really just want something from you and don't really care about you yourself. And to be honest, if you're not a sociopath, nobody would look out for you.
Yeah, and I think Heyman being with him is only going to let him grow.
Exactly. So
yeah.
I think this is going to be, if they keep him in the group forever, I think this could be a
Because
beautiful thing.
he's and weird connection, but I'm a big Hunter S. Thompson fan.
Mhm.
I don't like his lifestyle. Like when they do like his schedule and all that and all the drugs he did. I don't care about any of the shooting the bazooka. I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. But 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 he was humble in his work.
Mhm.
Logan Paul it seems to be an extremely cocky and weird human being.
Outside of his craft.
In his work, extreme humility.
Yes,
And
100%.
I can respect
I
that.
say the same thing about him and his brother. Like, as much as people like to talk about his brother not being a legitimate boxer, yeah, that I don't know a lot of people that train as hard or do the things that Jake does just to be a celebrity boxer.
Yep.
No, this guy takes the craft very, very seriously, just like his brother does with wrestling, and I respect the heck
Yep.
out of it.
Humble in his work, loyal to his people.
We have one more break we're going to get to. I swear on the other side, we'll talk Philadelphia sports plus some Dallas things and a whole bunch of entertainment stuff because I want to get your thoughts. I don't know if you've seen Stranger Things or any of these other shows
We
that are
have.
coming out. Plus, Sparky has been able to watch the whole Diddy documentary made by 50 Cent.
Oh.
And yeah, it's as bad as you thought. So we'll give you that on the other side of the break. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Oh, I was wondering what the heck this was for a second. Oh man, the second best television show on a streaming service. Stranger Things, dog.
I don't know,
I'm
man.
telling you, I got Stranger Things withdrawals. I can't say I have Welcome to Derry with
I mean,
maybe, but again,
2 more episodes left.
Is that all it is?
yeah, 3 more left. And
Stranger Things?
Oh,
no,
for Welcome to
Stranger
Derry.
Things. I think we have like 5,
3
3
for
on
the next
Christmas,
one,
2
and
on
then
New Year's.
only 1. It's
Is
just
it
long.
one? Oh, okay, we'll see. But I don't know. I've been told a lot of these episodes of Stranger Things are supposed to be 2 hours long anyway, and none of them were. So I've been lied to.
I think I graduated high school with 3 of these 12-year-olds on the Stranger Things
I
cast.
mean, at this point-
good grief.
I know they've talked about a spinoff with Nancy Botwin.
Well, that's going to be the next Stranger Things season. Is they're going to take down the AARP program for malfeasance.
I mean, I love the show though. I think it's a lot of fun.
It is great.
And supposedly the spinoff is going to be in between season 4 and 5 with Nancy and Robin.
Okay, I'm cool with it.
Okay.
I'm cool with it. Give me more of Ethan Hawke's daughter. I got no problem with
I
that.
had no idea that was.
Oh yeah, it's Ethan and
Dude.
Uma's daughter.
Everyone is a nepo baby,
Right?
Which is it. I understand. I get, but it is hard as
Hey, man.
outsiders who are building us as a tripartite, who are building. Because I'm the third host now, by
Yes,
the
you
way. It's
are.
been
It's
3
true.
segments.
It's
Anytime.
true. He's
the
been here a
whole
whole
hour.
hour.
I was
so-
going to say I get my mail sent here now. By the end of
My
this.
GM is going to text me, hey, he's not on the payroll.
That's fine. Look, man, I've had guests for an hour. It's not that big.
Do
of
I
a
get
deal.
bennies? Do I get bennies after this? Do I
Radio
No,
get
but
those?
we have a
coupons.
donut for you in the other room.
I'll take a donut.
There
So
you go.
the opposite of benefits.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
The opposite of contributing to my health. I'll take it.
Let's get into a little bit of sports before we get into the entertainment stuff, though, because we can go a long time about all of this type
Sure.
of stuff. Real quick, Philadelphia Eagles still number 1 in the NFC East, but the Dallas Cowboys were swiftly on your heels. Now are going to be fighting a uphill battle trying to make their way back. But how do you feel? I mean, your team hasn't exactly looked great all season.
They don't look
and
great.
from what I understand, Jalen Carter now most likely will not play on Monday as
Yep.
he got a surgery done on both of his shoulders.
That's wild. Yeah, they don't look great. I don't expect them to look great. I never worried about them in the division because it always strikes me how every year as a people and fan base, we forget that the Dallas Cowboys every year are the best team in the NFL in November and the worst team in the NFL in December. And I don't know, by the way, someone should be looking into this as to why. Does Jerry just back off for the holidays and lose interest and pick back up in December? There has to be a reason that every year, despite the head coach, despite the coordinators, despite the roster, they are a house on fire in November and then the wheels come off everything in December.
No, that's a good point. I never really, again, recency bias may take that over for me, but every single year it does seem like the Cowboys are right there on the cusp, and then for some reason just something happens where they either get knocked out in the wild card round or they don't make it at all. I still say though, there is not a lot of players right now playing the quarterback position better than Dak Prescott
Tremendous.
is, and Jerry may just be working on some oil rigs. I have
could
no
be.
idea, and he's just not around the facilities as often during this time, and maybe they could focus on football more than anything.
That's what I'm wondering. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Dak is playing like the best quarterback in the league, and it took what, like 4 off seasons to actually pay him. Like,
Yeah.
And that's
And they almost let him walk.
they almost let him walk. It's tough for team culture. I don't think the Eagles are going to turn it around. Again, I don't need to see it. I've seen 2 Super Bowls. I thought I'd die without seeing one. So hey, you've given me what I needed.
Amen.
But
You are probably the only humble Philly fan I've ever met
Right?
in my life.
I know when my real job, my day job is I'm a negotiator,
Mm.
and I know how to get what I need without sacrificing that for what I want.
That's
I live my life that way. I saw 2 Super Bowls. I don't care if the rest of the NFL forever is rained out, if they never win a game again. But I will say, Jalen Hurts, I don't think he's a great quarterback. And the propaganda after this Hard Knocks episode came out of, I don't know if you
still need
saw
to
this.
watch that.
So the
Oh,
Hard
I
Knocks
forgot about
episode
that.
came out.
In-season Hard Knocks came out.
He missed a throw to Devontae Smith, and Twitter propaganda lit up with people saying, look, that is a leader taking accountability, because he's like, oh, I messed up. That's not your fault. You keep doing what you're doing. I just need to fix myself. That's great when it happens once in a while. Again, I was that guy. I was a terrible financing real estate lawyer on a team that all knew what they were doing, and I didn't. And I was that guy that was like, hey, I messed up this one, but I'm going to work hard. And after the 6th or 7th deal that I was like, yeah, sorry, I didn't pick that one up. They're like, yeah, we know it was you. It's no longer a character.
Nobody else that could
It's
have been.
no longer a character trait to own your mistakes. You're the only one making the mistakes, man. Congrats on your leadership. Your execution is terrible. Pick up a clipboard because coaches can be great leaders and be terrible quarterbacks also.
And there's the Philly fan.
Yeah, I'm back, baby.
There's the Philly fan.
I'm back.
For.
I'm back. It only took a minute for me to
And
put away
nothing-
my day
What
job,
about
didn't it?
Saquon?
He's really struggled this year too. But again, when you
I
When you
blame the offensive line for that.
and the offense and last year's offense, I mean, when you squeeze that amount of juice out of how many carries did he have? 350 carries
Fair.
last season
No,
or
that's
something like that.
absolutely fair.
How much can you ask? I mean, and you look at it. I'm speaking off the cuff, so I could be totally wrong. But I think if you look in history at every 2,000-yard rusher, they're kind of never the same after that. CJ2K, never the same.
True.
What's his name? Even Derrick Henry, I think he's having a great year, but he's not lighting the world on
No.
fire like he did.
He hasn't really lit the world on fire since leaving Tennessee, if you want to be honest about it.
If you have 350 carries in a season, that's about 200 car crashes, basically.
Yes.
And that's a lot for. And when you go, postseason, Super Bowl, that's a lot for anybody to deal with.
Right. And again, it also has to factor in that these guys just came in already with a ring on their finger and thinking, meh, if we make it back. I mean, I won last year, so I can still talk. You know what I mean? There are the guys that want to win every single year, but there's no Tom Brady's anymore. You're not going to go to any NFL player, ask them, hey, what was your favorite Super Bowl win? And they're going to say the next one.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and teams are already playing 17 games versus 16, and there's a lot to say about playing 21 versus 17. I mean, that's a lot.
But I mean, you guys are still in a pretty good spot. I mean, I doubt the Cowboys come up and actually uproot you guys for the division title this year. So I can't think that they're actually that concerned right now, especially after the loss yesterday to the Detroit Lions. So,
well, they can make some noise. I mean, they can limp into the playoffs. I don't believe in the Bears. But by the way, they're the head of their division with a +6 point differential on the season. So they're 9-3, and they could very easily be 3-9. I don't believe in the 49ers. I don't necessarily believe in Seattle. I mean, Sam Darnold is not the veteran. He's had a great year.
Show me he can do something in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't need to see Cinderella's pumpkin again.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
And I don't expect 3 or 4 lights out veteran games out of him in the postseason. But so they could make some noise in the playoffs. I just don't see them having anything right now for the Rams or the Packers.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm not a believer in the Packers, to be honest with you. I don't think that we're talking about teams with inconsistencies. I think they're one of them, if I'm being honest. The only team in the NFC that has shown me that they're pretty close to shoo-in for the Super Bowl
Carolina.
is the Rams.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if we're going to be basing it off of the entire logic of Dom Mysterio, technically, I guess Carolina, since they beat the Rams. But no, the LA Rams are the only team in the NFC, in my opinion, that I can honestly look at and say that's going to be a tough team to beat. Everybody else is beatable. In the AFC, it's kind of the same thing. Although it looks great that the Patriots and the Broncos are 10-2. Can we really trust that either of those teams are actually going to make it to the Super Bowl?
And by the way,
I really don't think so.
I'll never admit this outside of just the 3 of us, but last year the Rams might have been one snowstorm away from beating the Eagles.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean,
it's honestly true. So until Matthew Stafford retires, I'm going to say the Rams are pretty much a favorite to win the NFC every year, which is weird. And they're already talking about Aaron Donald coming back to play for them.
Yeah, I've heard that. And in the last minute, what'd you think about the Stranger Things?
I thought it was great. Like I said, I think the kids are 45 years old now, and so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I think it's very entertaining.
Okay. Will got powers. We're gonna see what happens afterwards with Vecna and all this type of stuff. I'm really excited. I've had withdrawals for the last week and a half.
And see, what I've read is it all goes back to Eddie's game.
Yeah, I've read that.
By the way, Vecna looking hot this year,
right?
huh?
So hot.
Wow.
They gave him a whole makeover, man.
Jey Uso needs that diet.
Oh God. Sir, thank you so much for your time. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you. We will talk to you in 2 weeks.
Love you, boys. Can't wait.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for joining us, as you always do, 7 to 9 in the morning. We'll be back on Monday. Plenty of football to talk about. We got some college championship games this weekend. You can hear all of them right here on KGEO Sports Talk starting at 12:30. We got to get out of the way for the great Rich Eisen. Sparky, let's go home.